Okay everybody, because we're doing acids and bases and because we don't have any access to the science room, I'm going to show you today how you can make an indicator at home. Now the most important thing about this is really think about it like you're cooking a vegetable. Okay, so there's very little in terms of safety that you wouldn't do anyway when you were cooking vegetables. So first of all, what we're going to use is red cabbage. Okay, red cabbage you can buy it in any vegetable shop or in Dunn's or Lidl or anywhere, about €1, maybe even less. Okay, the only safety thing you should be careful of obviously is when you're cutting it, you're using a knife and you're going to use hot water. So I've got my apron on, I've got my glasses on, but remember, it's only like cooking a vegetable. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up the red cabbage into some small pieces. And you know, that's really enough red cabbage. I'm going to chop them up smaller because the smaller you cut them, the more of the indicator is going to squeeze out of those purple bits and into your solution. Just be careful, obviously, when you're using a sharp knife. You don't want to cut yourself. If you do cut yourself doing it, tell your parents immediately. And they're good. So there's our pieces of red cabbage. We're going to throw them into the pot. Your hands may stain a kind of purple colour. It's perfectly safe. They will wash off very easily. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add water. Now we can do this two ways. We can add cold water, but we might as well add hot water because we're going to be boiling it anyway. So there's some hot water gone in from the kettle. And turn on the cooker. And we're literally going to boil it for a couple of minutes. Again, just like you boil a vegetable. So while this is starting to cook, we're going to use this indicator to show the difference between an acid and a base. So I have vinegar here, courtesy of Romeo's. The free advertising there for Romeo's. And I'm going to put that into a glass. And this is bicarbonate of soda, which is really bread soda. And we use that when we're making bread. It helps bread to rise. And I'm going to take a bit of this, shake it into a glass. Again, these are just household substances, so there's no safety precautions to worry about. And we're going to mix the bread soda up. So the bread soda should be a base, the vinegar should be an acid. Okay, so we're going to see what happens when we add acid and bases to our indicator. And this is heating up nicely. Again, obviously in the science room you would be using something like a beaker and a Bunsen burner. You can see on the spoon it's coming out a nice purple colour. So we'll just wait for that to boil. So we're just about getting to boiling point. Boiling point being 100 degrees because it's really water which is boiling here with dissolved red cabbage. So just about to boil. Obviously be very, very careful using the cooker as it's hot. Now, in the science lab at this point we would normally remove the Bunsen burner and we would set up a filter funnel with some filter paper in it and we'd filter it through that. We don't have that here, so we have to find something that's going to work equally as well, and that's a sieve. So we're going to sieve this now. We're going to turn off the ring. The cooker is off. We're going to very carefully take the pot and we're going to sieve this through. Now, this is the residue on the top, the red cabbage. It's now cooked red cabbage. I give it to my husband for his dinner this evening. He likes red cabbage. We don't need this anymore. What we're looking at is this here. And this is your red cabbage indicator. So, we need to see now what happens when we add red cabbage indicator to an acid. So vinegar is our acid. Of course, you really only need a few drops in a small amount in a test tube, so these are the smallest vessels I have. So I'm going to add some red cabbage. Red cabbage is purple. We add it to the acid and it goes red. And that's actually why red cabbage gets its name as red cabbage, because people pickle it with vinegar and it comes out that lovely red colour. Okay, so that's red cabbage in an acid and it has turned red. Tell me when you're going again. And now we're going to have the red cabbage in a base, and we're going to see what colour red cabbage indicator turns in a base. So remember, it's purple in a neutral solution when it's made. We're going to add it to our bread soda and it goes blue. So like litmus, red cabbage goes red in the acid and blue in the base. I suppose we should also see how it goes in water. So I'm going to test it now with some tap water. And well, it stays pretty purple. So there you have it. Acid goes red, purple in something neutral like water or salt, and blue in base. This is something you can do at home yourselves, and you can practice it with other things like lemon juice and cleaning agents like toothpaste or soap. Just before we finish off, we'll do one final reaction of acids. Now, we don't normally suggest you mix chemicals when you're finished, but this is going to be safe. So I'm adding the neutral red cabbage indicator in the water in here. I'm going to add to that the acid, and I'm going to add to this the base, and watch what happens. Lots and lots of bubbles, and it turns purple. So what have I done? I've neutralised it, I've mixed an acid and a base. Because I've reacted a carbonate with an acid, I've made carbon dioxide. Okay, and there's also water and there's salt present as well. So you could evaporate off all the water and you would get the salt.